There are some products that the government wants to encourage our consumption of. And so when we're looking at the positive externalities within society, we're looking at the positive externalities associated with consumption. So if we consider healthcare, education, if we consider vaccinations, there are a number of products that if we consume, the external benefits to society are quite significant. So if I'm vaccinated against the flu, I then don't transmit the flu onto others. I don't catch it, hopefully, in the first place, and certainly I don't then transmit it onto others. The more people that are vaccinated, the bigger the cumulative effect on the society of that vaccination programme. The same can be said for the taking of certain medications, and certainly the same can be said of the more people that are educated in society, the bigger the external benefit to society. So when we are drawing a positive externalities diagram, we are looking at the positive externalities of consumption. So if we were to show this on a diagram, we would again consider the cost of benefits, which are annotated and noted in terms of pounds, and then we would have the quantity of production. So this time we're going to assume that there are no external costs, which again is probably a falsehood, but it allows us to draw the diagram. And as with the externalities diagram that we drew for production, when we looked at the negative externalities, we are assuming here that we are understanding the concept of marginality and the idea of an additional unit. So as you consume more and more, if you think back to marginal utility theory in theme 1, the more you consume, the less the benefit becomes over time. So when you're consuming low levels of something, so if you've not been vaccinated against anything, then obviously the impact, the benefit you get is quite high. But the more that you are personally vaccinated against something, the more resistant perhaps you become to certain viruses, etc. And the same can be true of education. If you can teach somebody to read, the benefits are huge. But if you add more and more layers of education, yes, the benefits will still be there, but they perhaps don't record such high levels as they did in the first instance. And so over time, the marginal private benefits to you of consumption will decline, although they are still present. But for society, because you've got a whole number of people benefiting from one person or 20 people or whole areas being vaccinated or educated, there will be a large external benefit to society. So the distance between those two lines, social benefit and private benefit, is the external benefit. So we can put a couple of equilibriums in, and if we remember that QSO is the quantity that is socially optimal, and that happens when the social benefit to society is the same as the social cost. And that happens here at QSO. Now, from a private individual's point of view, if I'm getting myself vaccinated against the flu, or I'm going on holiday and I consider that I want to be vaccinated against rabies or yellow fever or any of those tropical diseases, I will only consider the private benefit to me and the private cost. So if we look at our diagram and we look at where MPB and MPC cross, that is here. So I'm considering the position for me as an individual. So beyond that point, if you look at the two lines, beyond that point, so to the left of QI here, from the point of view of me, the private benefit has declined below the private cost. And so is there any point in me vaccinating myself beyond QI? Probably not, but from the point of view of society, there is. Because if we consider for society at that point, there is a huge external benefit to society. Now, if we don't take account of that, then we're going to create a welfare loss in society. Now, what the government will want to do is it will want to remove the consumption of that product from QI to QSO. And if it can do that, then it can maximise and get rid of this potential welfare loss. So from a point of view of a positive externalities diagram, I would always label this welfare loss or potential welfare gain, because I think it's important to remember that if the government doesn't do something to maximise that potential welfare gain, then it is going to lose out. And the key way that it will do that is through subsidies and thinking about how it might encourage more consumption within the marketplace. So, for example, within the NHS, they make the flu vaccination very affordable so that it is possible for GPs to particularly focus on their vulnerable groups, so the elderly, people that work in public services, to have priority for flu vaccinations. And certainly it is possible for many vulnerable groups to get flu vaccinations free of charge. And so you can see that would encourage them to have the vaccination and move more towards QSO. So that is the positive externalities of consumption.